The person who smiles at you every single day might be the most dangerous person in your life. Not the one who hates you. Not the one who argues with you. Not the one who cuts you off in traffic. The one who is always so kind. There is a type of manipulation so subtle, so perfectly disguised, that most people go their entire lives without ever seeing it. It doesn't look like control. It doesn't feel like abuse. It looks like warmth. It feels like love. And by the time you realize what's happening, you've already given them everything. What I'm about to show you changed how I see people forever. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The psychology of the smiling enemy. Here's what nobody tells you about kindness. Your brain is wired to trust people who are kind to you. That's not a weakness, that's evolution. For thousands of years, if someone brought you food, they were an ally. If someone helped your tribe, they were safe. But that ancient wiring has a fatal flaw. It cannot tell the difference between genuine warmth and performed warmth. Psychologists call this the liking effect. The more someone makes you feel good, the less your critical thinking engages. Your brain essentially goes off guard. It lowers the walls. And this is exactly what a master manipulator counts on. Think about it. When someone openly hates you, what happens? You stay sharp. You watch your back. You don't share your secrets. You don't let them close. But when someone is consistently, relentlessly kind to you, you open up. You trust. You share your fears, your dreams, your insecurities. You hand them a map of every single vulnerability you have. And a predator with a map is the most dangerous thing in the world. The debt trap, when kindness becomes a leash. Most people never notice this. Every single act of kindness creates something invisible, an emotional debt. This isn't malicious when it's genuine. But in the hands of someone who knows what they're doing, kindness becomes the most powerful leash ever invented. Here's a real-life scenario. You have a coworker, let's call him Marcus. Marcus covers for you when you're late. Marcus brings you coffee. Marcus always has a compliment. Marcus always has time for you. And then one day, Marcus asks you to do something that crosses a line. Maybe he asks you to look the other way on something unethical. Maybe he asks you to lie for him. Maybe he manipulates you into taking on all his work. And you do it. Why? Because you feel like you owe him. Because you don't want to seem ungrateful. Because how could someone that nice have bad intentions? That feeling, that's not love. That's a leash. Psychologists call this reciprocity manipulation. It's one of the 6 principles of influence identified by Robert Cialdini. And it's used by con artists, cult leaders, and toxic partners all over the world. When kindness comes with invisible strings attached, you're not receiving a gift. You're taking on a debt. The 4 faces of fake kindness. And this is where it gets dangerous. Not all fake kindness looks the same. There are 4 distinct patterns, and you need to learn to spot them. Pattern 1, the overcorrector. This person is kind specifically after they hurt you. Every time they cross a line, they come back. With flowers, with apologies, with overwhelming affection. The kindness isn't real, it's a reset button. They're not sorry. They're resetting the cycle so they can hurt you again. Pattern 2, the audience-dependent giver. They are only kind when others are watching. In public, they're generous and warm. In private, they're cold, critical, dismissive. If their kindness disappears when the audience disappears, it was never for you. It was for their image. Pattern 3. The information extractor. These people disguise interrogation as concern. How are you really doing? You can tell me anything. They create an atmosphere of warmth specifically to get you to lower your guard and reveal things they can use later. Every vulnerability you share becomes a potential weapon. Pattern 4. The conditional giver. Their kindness is perfectly calibrated to what they need from you. When you're useful to them, they're generous, warm, attentive. The moment you stop being useful, watch how fast that warmth evaporates. Hate is honest. It shows you exactly where the threat is. Fake kindness hides the threat inside a gift. The neuroscience of being fooled. But here's the truth. It's not your fault that you fall for this. Your brain is literally built to be deceived by kindness. When someone does something nice for you, your brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. The same chemical released when a mother holds her newborn. When you hug someone you love, oxytocin doesn't just make you feel good. It actively suppresses the amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for detecting threat. Think about that for a second. Kindness chemically disables your threat detection system. A 2012 study from the University of Zurich found that when participants received acts of generosity, their ability to identify deception in subsequent interactions dropped significantly. In other words, when someone is nice to you, you become measurably worse at catching them in a lie. And skilled manipulators know this. They front-load kindness for exactly this reason. They're not being kind because they like you. They're being kind because it makes you blind. Your enemy's hatred keeps you sharp. Their kindness makes you stupid. The narcissist's favorite weapon. Most people never connect these dots. Fake kindness isn't random. It's the primary tool of one of the most dangerous personality types in psychology, the covert narcissist. Unlike the loud, obvious narcissist who brags and belittles openly, the covert narcissist wraps everything in warmth and vulnerability. They appear humble. They appear selfless. They appear to be the kindest person you've ever met. And that's exactly what makes them devastating. Here's how it plays out in a relationship. In the beginning, the love bombing phase, they make you feel like the most special person on earth. They're attentive, generous, almost overwhelmingly kind. You've never felt so seen, so loved. But that kindness isn't attraction. That kindness is investigation. They're studying you, learning what you need most. Because what you need most is what they'll eventually withhold. Do you need validation? They'll give it endlessly until you're dependent on it. Then they'll take it away, and you'll spend years trying to get it back. Do you need security? They'll make you feel safer than you've ever felt. Then they'll introduce just enough chaos that you cling to them as the only stable thing in your world. They didn't love you. They mapped you, and then they built a cage using exactly the dimensions of your needs. Someone who hates you cannot do that. Only someone you trust can build a cage around you and call it home. How to tell the difference, real versus performed kindness. So how do you protect yourself without becoming paranoid? Because here's the thing, real kindness exists. Genuine, beautiful, life-giving kindness is real. And you need to be able to receive it without fear. The difference between real and fake kindness isn't how it looks. It's how it behaves under pressure. Test 1, the inconvenience test. Real kindness shows up when it costs something, when it's inconvenient, when there's nothing to gain. Fake kindness almost always appears when there's an audience, a favor needed, or a wrong to cover up. Ask yourself, does this person show up for me when nobody's watching? When there's nothing in it for them? Test 2, the disagreement test. What happens when you say no? When you disagree? When you fail to meet their expectations? Genuine kindness doesn't evaporate when you disappoint someone. Performed kindness does, and it often transforms into something cold, or passive-aggressive, or wounded. Test 3, the consistency test. Real kindness is boring, it's quiet. It shows up the same on a Tuesday afternoon as it does on your birthday. Fake kindness tends to be dramatic, intermittent, and perfectly timed for maximum impact. Watch how people treat you when you have nothing to offer. That's who they actually are. The people who've already done this to you. And now, the part that's going to be uncomfortable. Because I'm not just talking about strangers, or coworkers, or people you barely know. I'm talking about the people closest to you right now. Think about the people in your life who are quote-unquote always kind. The ones who never seem to have a selfish bone in their body. The ones everyone loves. Now ask yourself honestly, does their kindness feel like a gift, or does it feel like a weight? Does spending time with them leave you feeling free, or does it leave you feeling like you owe them something? Do you edit yourself around them? Do you feel a subtle guilt when you don't meet their expectations? Even when they never voiced those expectations? That guilt is the leash. And you didn't put it on yourself. Real love does not create debt. Real kindness does not require repayment. Real care does not leave you feeling like you're never quite doing enough. If someone's kindness makes you feel small, makes you feel guilty, makes you feel like you can never leave, that is not kindness. That is control dressed in a smile. The hardest realization. Here's the truth that most people aren't ready to hear. The most dangerous people in your life right now are probably not the ones you fear. They're the ones you're grateful for. Because hate is transparent. Hate shows you exactly where it stands. You know what to do with hate. You protect yourself. You leave. You fight back. But fake kindness? Fake kindness makes you doubt your own perception. It makes you feel crazy for questioning it. It makes you feel guilty for even having the thought that something is wrong. But they've been so good to me. But they would never. But everyone thinks they're wonderful. That confusion, that's not a coincidence. That's the design. The kindness isn't just a trap. The kindness is the alibi. Your worst enemy doesn't come with a warning label. They come with a warm smile, a helping hand, and a very long memory of every single thing they've ever done for you. And when the time is right, they will collect. I want you to sit with this. Not to become paranoid. Not to see every act of kindness as a threat. But to stop giving your trust away like it costs nothing. Trust is not given because someone is nice to you. Trust is earned through time, through consistency. Through how they treat you when it costs them something. Watch quietly. Watch longer than feels necessary. Because the mask always slips. It always does. You know that one person who came to mind during this video. You already know what to do. If you see this, you can't unsee it. Watch this again. Because you missed something. And if you want to go deeper, watch the next video. The one that explains exactly how to disarm someone who's been using this on you for years. The link is right there. Don't look away.